Foster. The man suspected of killing a right-wing counter-protester in Portland, Oregon Saturday is dead, shot during an arrest attempt. He'd essentially admitted he did it.
Michael Reinhold told Vice News he's a former military contractor with 2 kids, and he's been providing security to Black Lives Matter protesters in Portland each night. He says the night a member of the conservative group Patriot Prayer was killed, he thought he and a friend were about to be stabbed, so he says he acted in self-defense.
Fox's Jessica Rosenthal. President Trump, campaigning in Latrobe, Pennsylvania, says people should wear masks for coronavirus protection when they can't keep their distance, but says about Joe Biden wearing one, he's got issues.
Did you ever see a man that likes a mask as much as him? And then he makes a speech, and he always has it, not always, but a lot of times he has it hanging down. Because you know what? It gives him a feeling of security. If I were a psychiatrist.
Americans listening to Fox News.
From the Fox News Podcasts Network. Download and listen to Tyrus and Tim.
I really believe Kamala Harris was the best choice for our show. I was kind of hoping for Kat that somebody else got in.
I'm like, I can't do that impersonation.
You know what? You probably could, but we're now back in 1950 to where if you did that, you're a racist person and you need to be fired because you can't be an actor and portray a character unless they are white.
Subscribe and listen now by going to foxnewspodcasts.com. Did you hear the news? Now you can. With instant updates from Fox News for Amazon Alexa, breaking stories and top headlines, daily coronavirus developments, the economy, and so much more. Brought to you by Fox News, America's #1 cable news network. Plus, setup couldn't be easier because everything's ready to go in the app. Just say,
Alexa, play news from Fox.
In Fox News.
It's the latest when you need it, on demand, from Fox News and Amazon Alexa.
Since 1946, Murphy's Builder Supply has been serving the folks of Jessup, Wayne, and surrounding counties with quality products and knowledgeable service. Matter of fact, they feel they sell service first to make sure you get exactly what you need for your home improvement projects. And with each employee at Murphy's being there for 10 years or more, you know you're talking with someone with the experience to help you with building supplies, tools, paint, and all the things you need from a full-service hardware store. The best choice in home improvement is Murphy's Builder Supply, 156 Northeast Broad Street, Jessup.
Damon's Famous Fingers and Wings restaurant in Jessup is now open for business, practicing social distancing, but still serving that great food that Damon's is famous for. Come inside or come through the drive-thru, but Damon's is open inside and welcomes back its customers. The menu's the same, the service is fast, and the food is fantastic, and the sauces remain the same, mild, wild, insane, or inferno. The number is the same, 588-WING, 588-9464. Damon's Restaurant on West Cherry Street in Jessup. Dining room now open for business. Come on in and enjoy a great meal today.
A bank that puts people first. First Southern Bank, investing in you since 1907. Serving Jessup, Patterson, and Waycross. A true community bank led by experienced neighborhood bankers that live and work in our community. Offering competitive loan options for commercial and consumer clients. Stop by the Jessup branch and meet branch manager Mandy Yeomans and her fantastic team. Call 912-810-1540. Let First Southern Bank be your bank of choice. First Southern Bank. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
757 with WIFO-FM. Here on this Friday morning, a Football Friday, world-famous Butch and Bob Show brought to you by Murphy Builder Supply, First Southern Bank, and Damon's Famous Fingers and Wings.
And we got several guests today on the world-famous Butch and Bob Show. We got D.A. Jackie Johnson in the green room, as we promised. She'll be in shortly. But first, we got Christy Carter in talking about Skylark, a nonprofit event coming up in Wayne County. So I'll turn it over to you, Christy. You got a guest with you. Tell us what's taking place.
Absolutely. Good morning, Bob,
Good
y'all.
morning.
I've got Belinda Thornton with me. She's our center director here in Jessup. So I'm going to say hello, Melinda.
Yes, good morning, everyone.
So we've got our 21st annual Skylark benefit fundraising dinner coming up September 24th at Unity Church of God. And we are wanting to invite guests to attend. Yes, we're still having the banquet, and we will be going through all of the CDC social distancing guidelines with masks, hand sanitizer stations, distancing, and all of that. So we're pressing on and going forward with our banquet. It will be Unity Church of God. We're going to start it at 6:30. The doors will open at the church at 6:30, and seating will start at 6:45.
Yes, registration at 6:30, seating at 6:45. They're able to start eating their salad, and then the program starts at 7 o'clock.
And, of course, our ministry here.
And what's the date?
September 24th.
What's that? That's a Thursday evening.
It's a Thursday, yeah. We feel that Thursday's a good day to have a banquet and don't tie people up on the weekends, so it's worked well for us. Wanted to give a shout-out to our top sponsor, which is Char Griller. It's a area business that has grills. So I definitely want to give a shout-out to Char Griller. And that was our Emerald sponsor, our Diamond sponsor, and our Emerald sponsor is Golden Owl's Office Equipment. But I do want to mention these great Wayne County businesses that are supporting the event. So I wanted to list those to you. Calvary Baptist Church, Carter Group Real Estate, Climate Controlled Storage, Green Motor Company, Joshua and Andrea Harris, Harris Ace Hardware and Building Supply, Jessup Church of God, Jones Prescription Shop, Leah Jones PC Attorney at Law, Overholt Construction, Paul and Vicky Drawdy, R&R Auto Sales, Wolf Animal Hospital, and Women's Health Center Obstetrics and Gynecology. That's always a tricky one for me. So I wanted to give a shout out to everybody to register for the event. We've currently got table hosts that are seeking a table of 8 to sit with them, and so you'll probably get word out that somebody might be inviting you to attend the event. It is complimentary, so the whole dinner is free of charge due to our gracious sponsors.
Yes. And
we've been in Jessup. When did y'all?
We opened our doors in October of 1999. So we've been here. We're going on 21.
It says the 21st annual fundraising banquet. Tell us what Skylark is for those that may not know what Skylark is.
I will. Our mission statement, Skylark, is a Christ-centered ministry dedicated to advancing the sanctity of human life and sexual purity. And basically what we do is we are a nonprofit. Our doors are open to anyone who thinks they may be pregnant. They can call and make an appointment, come in. We do pregnancy tests. We also do limited ultrasounds. We do parenting classes for anyone who is pregnant or anyone who already has children under the age of 2. We can do parenting classes, or they can earn what we call mommy bucks, and they can go into our little baby boutique and get items out of there. We have diapers from newborn all the way up to size 6. We have clothes from newborn up to size 2. So all kind of things in there. They can even earn a free crib or a free pack and play. So it's those services that we can offer, because we know in these days and times right now, between having to get gas or other things that you may need at home, you may need extra help. So these are a way of getting it. Mm-hmm. So we have those, and we also offer limited STI testing. We have that where they can come. So we have all kind of different things that if they can just call us, come in, we'd love to help them any way we can.
And where's Skylark located at in Jessup?
We are located at 212 South 1st Street in Suite 6. We're right there on the main 1st Street. You can't miss us. We're right there near Dairy Queen and all that.
Okay, sounds good. The banquet the 24th, but is there a deadline to sign up?
Yes, there is. The deadline for RSVP would be September 14. So that's coming up quickly, and if you would let us know, we've got a banquet event site. It's called helloskylark.com/banquet, or you can stop by and visit Belinda at the office, and she's open. You want to tell them the hours?
Yes, I'm open Monday through Thursday, 10 to 5, or you can give me a call at 912-588-0010.
And besides the meal, it says the evening is going to feature testimonies. A year-end report and a special message by Executive Director Patrick Eads, who will challenge and encourage the audience. So tell us about him and what's
yes. Patrick has been with Skylark. It started in Brunswick, and then he branched out and opened up the office here in Wayne County, and we're actually in Camden too. And we also have a mobile unit that services Richmond Hill, Waycross,
Brantley County.
Help me out.
It services Richmond Hill, Hinesville, Brantley County, and I think that's Waycross.
Waycross, yeah.
And Waycross.
So we're pretty much everywhere. And I wanted to mention, you were talking about the testing and the ultrasounds and the pregnancy test, all of that. That's free of charge.
Yes.
So all of our services are definitely free for those women in need. So do take advantage of them. And it's due to our gracious donors and sponsors that support the ministry.
Is there a website that people can go on to get more information, or how do they go about purchasing a ticket for this event?
Yes, please register for the event. Whether you're invited by a table host or not, you're welcome to attend and hear more about it. It's going to be helloskylark.com/banquet. Very simple. helloskylark.com/banquet.
Okay, and it's September 24th, Thursday, here in Jessup at Unity Church of God.
Yes.
Meal included, program. So, okay, anything else we need to tell them?
No, we would love for y'all to attend and support the event.
Okay, well, we appreciate y'all coming in. Again, we got the PSA here, so we'll continue to let people know about it and have people sign up. Hopefully a good crowd. How many people annually attend this event? They said it's the 21st annual event. Is it normally sold out?
We normally would have 40 tables at eight at a table, so we love to always have about 320. Sometimes we make that, sometimes we don't. But we'd love for them to call, and we can get them plugged in there and get a seat.
But amazingly, with the pandemic going on, we have like 38 tables, right? 33 tables,
32,
I believe, right now.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, it's close, 33 tables. So folks are wanting to get out. They're we've only had one person give us a little feedback, which we love feedback, but everybody else, the majority of the folks are like, we want something to do. We want to get out of the house.
So one more time, give the phone number and the website to get the ticket information.
Phone number?
The phone number is 912-588-0010.
And the website is helloskylark.com/banquet.
Okay, we'll look forward to it on September 24th, but we appreciate y'all coming in.
Thank you, Bob.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank y'all for what you do.
We got DA Jackie Johnson in the green room. We'll talk with her right after this.
Since 1946, Murphy's Builder Supply has been serving the folks of Jessup, Wayne, and surrounding counties with quality products and knowledgeable service. Matter of fact, they feel they sell service first to make sure you get exactly what you need for your home improvement projects. And with each employee at Murphy's being there for 10 years or more, you know you're talking with someone with the experience to help you with building supplies, tools, paint, and all the things you need from a full-service hardware store. The best choice in home improvement is Murphy's Builder Supply, 156 Northeast Broad Street, Jessup. A bank that puts people first. First Southern Bank, investing in you since 1907. Serving Jessup, Patterson, and Waycross. A true community bank led by experienced neighborhood bankers that live and work in our community. Offering competitive loan options for commercial and consumer clients. Stop by the Jessup branch and meet branch manager Mandy Yeomans and her fantastic team. Call 912-810-1540. Let First Southern Bank be your bank of choice. First Southern Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Damon's Famous Fingers and Wings restaurant in Jessup is now open for business, practicing social distancing, but still serving that great food that Damon's is famous for. Come inside or come through the drive-thru, but Damon's is open inside and welcomes back its customers. The menu's the same, the service is fast, and the food is fantastic, and the sauces remain the same, mild, wild, insane, or inferno. The number is the same, 588-WING, 588-9464. Damon's Restaurant on West Cherry Street in Jessup. Dining room now open for business. Come on in and enjoy a great meal today. Welcome back. More of the world famous Butch and Bob Show. As promised, we got District Attorney Jackie Johnson in the studio with us. Jackie, always good to see you. Appreciate you coming in.
Hey, thank you, Bob, for having me.
And you're in campaign mode, and it's right around the corner, November. So how's the campaign going?
Oh, it's going great so far. Getting a chance to get out and see a lot of people. Spent some time here in Wayne County yesterday, so it's going well.
My question is, when are we going to see another court case? I mean,
it is challenging.
Who's made this rule? I mean, it's high up, right?
Yeah, it's coming from the Supreme Court. Actually, the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court of Georgia has declared a judicial state of emergency. So we haven't even sworn in a grand jury for Wayne County for this term. So we've not had
getting backed up.
Everything is on hold. We have no grand juries right now. We've not had jury trials. I think the last jury trial we had in the entire circuit was in February. We were getting ready to try the Watson case when all of this happened, which is a pending murder case that we have. I was in the office yesterday, and we had 50 cases that we have written out on our board that are waiting for grand jurors to come in. So we've got a lot to do. The good news is we've been able to do a lot without juries coming in. I know this is hard for people to believe, but a lot of times when people commit a crime, they've already committed a crime and they're on probation, so we can handle those in front of a judge, and we've been able to resolve a lot of cases in that manner. Actually sent some cases off to prison based off judges hearing probation revocation hearings. Last week we got a 20-year prison sentence on an attempted rape case that the county worked. Lady was standing in her yard raking, and a fella stopped and thought he was going to attempt to rape her, and she was pretty feisty and fought him off with a shovel. And, of course, law enforcement was called, and they were able to find him later on with the mark on his face from the shovel and hook him up and charge him with attempted rape. So we resolved that case last week and got a good sentence out of it. So jurors not coming in has allowed us to be able to continue to do things, and one of the good things that we've been able to do is the Briarwood thing, and that's something that hasn't required juries, and the little bit of downtime has allowed us to kind of work on that.
But that kind of got continued there, right?
What happened was when you have a situation, when you've got an apartment complex like Briarwood, and, the reason Briarwood is on our radar is, you report what happens here in Jessup, and it has just been a haven for criminal activity over the last several years, serious crime. We had rival gangs shooting each other there a few years ago, and we ended up trying that case. It was actually two gangster disciples from down in Brunswick who had come up.
I got a history lesson on gangs,
and you don't.
Bible and everything else. It's just I've learned more about gangs than I need to know about.
That's not supposed to happen here in Wayne County, but it did. And so back when that happened, we actually specifically the Jessup Police Department. Nick Ellis was involved in that case, and he and Chief Lane had a conversation with the owners and operators of Briarwood about the security situation. And for a brief period of time, they agreed to put city police officers out there for added patrol. That lasted for a very short period of time. Subsequent to that, we had another situation where 5 convicted felons out of Florida came up here with assault rifles and opened fire up there. Then they left, and of course, Jessup Police was called and was working the case. They were, of course, good enough in their criminal getaway to get stopped in a traffic stop down in Folkestone, and they, of course, had all of the guns in the car, and so we were able to connect that up, and the feds took that case. But these situations of coming into that community and opening fire, whether or not you hit someone or not is beside the point. You've got people that live in that community that need to be able to be safe in their apartment without having a bullet come through the window. So those things kept happening in there. And so one of the things that I had talked with a lawyer in Atlanta about, who does a lot of this around the state, was what we could do about filing a lawsuit to put some teeth into what we could do to get them to clean things up over there and make it more secure for the residents.
And people misunderstood. You're not trying to shut Briarwood down. You're just trying to get them to step up and provide 24-hour security for those residents of Briarwood. Is that correct?
Not only that, we're not looking to take the apartment complex. We're not looking to shut it down. If you know anything about what's going on in the country right now, is you know that we've got a housing situation. Evictions are up with people that have lost their job during the corona situation. You want people to have a safe place to live, but if you're going to undertake to operate an apartment complex, there are certain standards and things that, if these things keep happening, you need to do things to improve security and access in there, making sure only people that are supposed to be there that are actually residents. Like I said, a lot of these crimes are people coming out of Jacksonville or Brunswick coming in there because they feel like they can come in there, leave, and get away with it. And so what we want them to do is put some measures in place to ensure the safety and security of the people that live there. There's young children that live in that apartment complex, and people that live there that need a place to live, but they also deserve to be able to be safe. I think the Jessup Police Department has had like 173 incidents, not just calls, incidents out there in the last few years. So it is an ongoing issue. So when we had the hearing a couple of weeks ago, and again, this is something we've been able to put a little time into because we haven't had juries going on, we reached an agreement with council that they are going to hire Jessup police officers to provide additional security out there. They're going to work on security cameras, lighting, possibly a gate. Those are all things that we're talking and negotiating with them because, again, people need to have a place to stay. We're not trying to shut it down. We just want it to be a safe place for the people that live there.
Right. The last time you were here, you said every 30 days they reassess this, whether we can have jury trials. So where do we stand? When do you think we'll see a jury trial? We're just one county at 5 in the circuit, and we're just one circuit all across the state of Georgia. So all across the state of Georgia, this is being backed up. We've got several murder trials. You mentioned the Watson case, the Harder cases there. There's some serious cases that need to be addressed, but they're just still on hold. So when do you see it opening back up? I know the problem is you can't have jury pools and social distancing, I guess. So When do you think they'll reassess that and say you can have one?
Well, they're reassessing it about every 30 days. The Supreme Court is looking at it. The most recent information I got is that they're possibly looking at opening it up at least for grand juries. Now, grand juries, of course, are where you can have 23 people and you can kind of space them out in a bigger courtroom. One of the things I'm hoping they're going to do, and there's been some talk about this, is we have 49 judicial circuits, letting the chief judges in each of those circuits decide what works best for those circuits, which I think is a good idea because our Judge Skylark, can make the decision if we've got adequate space to have a grand jury and what our need is for each of the 5 counties. I'll have to say in my 5 counties, in Jessup, in Wayne County, we're actually not nearly as backed up on our grand jury in our cases as if we are in some of our other counties. We've been continuing to monitor the jail population, work with the sheriff's office, and make sure that we can move cases along. But there's also been some talk about we're doing a lot of things through video, WebEx, and over the internet in the courtroom now, so we don't have to transport inmates. There's also been some talk about going to some type of virtual situation with jurors and grand jurors. I think that's a long way off. I think most people in the court system feel like there's a lot of problems with that, and that how do you ensure the integrity of the process if somebody is being beamed in on a computer and you don't know where they are, what they've got access to, who might be in their ear when they're supposed to be listening to evidence and being independent. So those are some concerns, but I do feel like in the fall, possibly October, we may open up and we may have some grand juries.
We got other cases as well. I guess if the defendant decides to take a plea, you can do the plea.
Yes, and we are doing a lot of those. We're taking pleas and continuing to resolve those cases.
Where's the first-degree arson case stand with DeRozier? Where's that at? Because I know that was indicted.
It's in the same posture as all of those cases that were indicted. So when we open back up, all of the cases that have already been indicted, that case has already been to a grand jury. The Harder case, the Watson case, all of those cases would take priority. And we've got a homicide that occurred on 4th Street. That was 2 rival gangs, actually subset of the Bloods. There was a robbery, and then there was a retaliation that turned into a murder. We've got that one. We've got a murder case from down in Scriven. We've got an armed robbery case from down in Scriven that we had tried and gotten a hung jury on. Older lady, so obviously with an elderly person who would be a witness in the case, we want to get that one prioritized. So there are a lot of things ready to go as soon as we can open back up and have juries come in. And I anticipate once we start back, it's going to be very busy for a period of time. One of the things I've been able to do in the DA's office is, and I credit Sherry Gibbs for this, Westbury Gibbs from here in Wayne County, is we've been very fiscally responsive over the years with our finances, and we've got actually a good reserve in the DA's office, and that's allowed us, when we have a backlog, to go out, hire outside counsel, hire additional special prosecutors to come in and help us clean up a backlog. For example, the attorney I hired out of Atlanta, I'm not well versed in filing a lawsuit against apartment complex. I try criminal cases. So those are the type cases you need to bring in somebody with the expertise to do it. And I anticipate once we do open back up, they're probably going to have to put some additional resources out of our reserve to try to clean those cases up and move them along, because the standstill is a problem not only for the defendants that are sitting in jail, some of them are on bond, but a lot of them are in jail, but it's a problem for those victims, because the longer the case drags on, that victim's still having to think about that case and really doesn't have any kind of closure.
Again, if you just joined us, District Attorney Jackie Johnson in the studio with us, running for re-election in November. Again, this week on Monday we had the story about the police officer that you had to investigate. Criminal charges came up against him. He's been terminated by the Jessup PD. I mean, unfortunately, across the state of Georgia, you see more and more law enforcement officers getting in trouble. I mean, is that becoming a trend?
Well, no, and I want to say this again, and I said this to somebody yesterday. You know, law enforcement officers are not out there standing between us and the bad guys to get rich. They're out there because they care about their communities and they want to serve and they want to protect people. And you always hear about the bad. They'll take 4 or 5 videos and they're awful to watch, but they'll run them over and over and over again. And my experience with law enforcement is not that. And I think most people's experience with law enforcement is not that. Most times, and we call them peace officers in the state of Georgia. Peace officers is what the term is. They'll go to a call, they'll diffuse a situation, nobody will get arrested, nobody will go to jail, and they'll go back to their patrol. And you don't ever hear I don't hear about those cases because nobody's arrested and they don't come to my office. So you don't hear about the good. The positive thing I can say about the Jessup Police Department and Mike Lane, as soon as this came to the attention of my office and the GBI, we called in the GBI, which was the appropriate thing to do. They investigated the case, and Mike Lane did what he was supposed to do. He looked at it once the GBI completed their investigation, and he made a determination as to what he should do with the employment side. And the criminal process will take its course. And that's the way things are supposed to happen in any profession. Teachers, lawyers, doctors, you're going to have people that break the law and do wrong from time to time. The question is, what do you do about it? If it's a law enforcement officer, just like anybody else, they've got to be held accountable. And you've got to let the process take its place. But that doesn't mean all the other people over there at the Jessup Police Department, and I deal with them every day, are not good people doing a good job. And I think there's probably listeners that can relate to an experience where they've had something where they've had to call the Jessup Police Department. It's been a positive thing. It's going to happen. The question is, what do you do when it happens? And I'm happy to say that we've got law enforcement and supervisors within law enforcement here in Jessup and in Wayne County that do the right thing. It's never easy to call in the GBI to investigate something, but that's the process, and we have that process in place, and that's what happened here.
Well, speaking of bringing the GBI in, you're still catching heat for not bringing the GBI in early in the Almond Aubrey case. Where's that investigation? Have you been contacted? Have you been interviewed about that? And because the state supposedly has an investigation underway on how that whole thing was handled.
I am aware.
That's it. I mean, that must be the longest investigation in the world.
I am aware there's an investigation going on. I have to trust the process, and that the process ultimately they will come out with the investigation. Of course, when I deal with Atlanta, and nothing happens quickly, and I don't know if anybody else has had that experience, but things typically take time. Particularly when you're talking about things going on in an election year. So, I look at all that through the course of a lot of these things going on, and I think that's at the national level, and I think that's at the local level. A lot of this you have to look at in the context of it being an election year, and you have to be patient with the process. But I trust the process, and I trust that ultimately the process is going to find that my office did what it was supposed to do. My office could not be involved in investigating or making decisions about a case that involves someone who had worked in that office for a long time. And we made that decision that day. And I'm confident once they look at everything, they're going to say that. And I've just got to be patient and trust the process.
I'm curious, there's all this animosity towards the DAs with that case. When you're out campaigning, are you catching that animosity, or how's people treating Jackie Johnson out on the campaign trail?
People are treating me great on the campaign trail. What is concerning is the Internet and Facebook, because a lot of people will get on the Internet, in the darkness of their bedroom on their computer in their pajamas and say a lot of things that they're not going to say when they've got to see you and deal with you in public. And I can look at the source of a lot of that. I can recognize that the source of a lot of that is people that have some sort of an agenda. Maybe my office, a lot of that is coming from my office might have prosecuted someone, sent someone to prison. I mean, it's not easy when we do our job. We have to do our job. Sometimes you're going to send someone to prison for molesting a child. Well, they've got a mother, they've got a brother, they've got family members, and it's a lot easier for those family members to believe the DA did something wrong than that their brother is a child molester. And those people are going to be frustrated, and they're going to be angry, and they're going to take to the Internet and Facebook and social media. And when they see that there's an election going on, they're going to become very vocal. And I think most people that most of your listeners certainly, and a lot of the people that I see and come in contact when I'm out campaigning, they understand that. They understand that you cannot believe necessarily everything you hear on the Internet, or even when you talk about the media. I mean, you look at you have to give President Trump credit. I mean, I think he's certainly one of the first presidents we've ever had to recognize that media anymore, it's hard to get the actual truth anymore, because if the truth gets in the way of a good story or an agenda or a narrative, lots of times the media doesn't even tell you the truth.
Yeah, I tell people all the time, it's sad, the media, there's no Walter Cronkite anymore. In the old days, he would just give the news and didn't give his. Now everybody has to give their opinion, and it's just all slanted, and it's kind of sad. Like I talked to Doug Collins yesterday, it's sad that the media doesn't even recognize the lawlessness that's taking place, and unfortunately some politicians won't even condemn it. You have people burning down buildings and tearing down property and throwing things at police officers, and they don't even condemn that. So it's just that's why the president seems to be promoting that law and order agenda. It's all about law and order.
We're living in different challenging times, and the media, I believe, has some responsibility in some of this because, to them, people are going to tune in to a car on fire a lot more than they're going to tune in to everything happened the way it was supposed to. This was a bad situation. We've called in for an investigation, and the process is not going to be quick. The process takes time, but to get it right, because jurors and judges and people like me, you've got to look at all the evidence and you've got to look at all the facts. It's real easy to put a 10-second clip out there and come to quick judgment. But if you believe in the Constitution and you believe in our justice system, that's not the fair way to do things. Everybody, and again, our justice system is not perfect, but I will tell you, it is the most effective and the best system in the world. And we're fortunate to live in a country where people have rights, and there is a process where the facts can come out, and independent people, jurors that don't know me or you or defendants and don't have an agenda, they get to make that decision, not the media and not a 10-second clip and the Internet. And, people being locked in the house for the last 6 months has really fed to, I think, a lot of fears, and the media has exploited that. And it's unfortunate that we live in those kind of times. But if you talk to law enforcement officers, if you talk to victims, if you deal with the type of things I deal with, and I know you deal with a lot of it, Bob, because you're out in the community, the reality they're portraying on the national news every night is not our reality here in Wayne County. We have good law enforcement here. We have good jurors. We have good judges. We have people that care about this community. And I'm proud to be part of that. And when I get out and I talk to people, that's the mindset here. We want law and order in our community. We want our communities to be safe. And the sad thing about it, some of these movements, the very people that are claiming that they want to defund the police and get rid of law enforcement and go to just that kind of society, the most vulnerable people in our society, the people that I serve as victims, the people that law enforcement officers protect, children, older people, black lives. If you want to talk about protecting black lives, get rid of the police, because these murders I'm talking about, many of these murders, my victims, they're black victims. And if you get rid of the police and you don't have a justice system in place, the most vulnerable people in our society are the ones that we're not looking out for. The lady I was telling you about, the attempted rape, she's an immigrant, right? And you get people that predators. We have predators and we have evil in the world, and it would be nice if we could believe that it doesn't exist, but it does. I've seen it. We had a case with a child here in Wayne County not long ago, just for pure spite. This person took was frying something and took up a hot instrument, spatula or something, and put it to the child's arm and burned the child. Those type things happen in the world, and if you don't have law enforcement and a criminal justice system and people to stand between the victims in society and the vulnerable people, those are the people that are going to suffer.
Jackie, always good to see you. Like I said, I'm sure we'll have you in between now and November. Wish you best luck on the campaign trail, and we'll continue to follow the race between now and November. November 3rd is the date. Is that correct?
November 3rd is the election,
election
and I will
day,
be
right.
on as the Republican candidate.
Right, and the early voting gets underway. You know when the early voting gets underway?
October 12th.
October 12th, right around the corner, less than a little bit more than a month away. Always good to see you. Appreciate you coming in, and like I said, we'll have you in before now in November. But best of luck in the campaign, and best of luck in the election.
Thank you, Bob, for having me.
Okay, that's going to do it for Friday's Butch and Bob Show. Have a great weekend. Don't forget football tickets on sale at 9:30 to 11:30 today at the stadium. $8 tickets for tonight's game between Wayne County and Hart County. We'll have that game for you. Coach's show at 6:30, pregame at 7, kickoff at 7:30, and after that, the postgame show, and then the high school scoreboard show after that. Have a great weekend. Again, Labor Day weekend. A lot of people with a 4-day holiday, so enjoy it and stay safe.